Welcome to the decadent, gorgeous, and ultra-luxurious Kahala Hotel and Resort in Yokohama, Japan. Yokohama, for those of you that are not familiar, is slightly outside of Tokyo. Being from a big city like Toronto myself, I liken it to like a suburb in the sense that it's super close to Tokyo. You can get there in a very short amount of time, yet Yokohama has amazing amenities in and of itself. So in that sense, it's a decked out, suburb that's got it going on. This is a little bit of the surroundings. This Kahala, for those of you that are not new to the channel and returning, I love you first of all, but this Kahala Hotel, the name might sound familiar because last year we reviewed the Kahala in Hawaii on this channel, and that is a must-watch, by the way. I will say, however, having been at the Kahala Hawaii first and then coming to this Kahala, with them both being labeled Kahala Resort, there was a little bit of discrepancy in expectation versus reality, because the Hawaii Kahala Resort was on the ocean, spread out, just such a relaxing vibe. This Kahala Resort was next to a conference center, next to skyscrapers. Yes, I know it's Japan. Don't come at me, but I'm just setting the scene for you. And next to a port that had garbage in it every morning. Okay, it was cleaned up every few days, but again, it was not the serenity of the Kahala Hawaii. So the names there, I'm not sure if the resort vibe is the best term for this Kahala situation. That being said, you just saw the pull-up area. Always some of the best cars in the world pulled up in the front there. This lobby now, so you might have noticed the man running, which you didn't notice because it's different to have somebody happening to be in front of me and different to put the camera in someone's face. So what you didn't notice is that to the left of that wave statue, there is a tiny desk with someone standing behind it at all times. And the purpose of that is to guide you to the fact that the lobby of this Kahala is on the 14th floor of this building. We'll come back to this like Wall of Heroes situation, but again, this is also in the Kahala Hawaii video. So moving on, with the lobby being in the 14th on the 14th floor, and side note, loved these diamond buttons. With the lobby being that high, it's just another, again, little weird situation. With the Kahala Hawaii, you would walk in and it was just so majestic and grand and relaxing and expansive in terms of space. Here you walk in, it's like this tiny room, a lot of black going on, and you gotta zip up to the 14th floor. Now the bedroom itself. The bedroom, a highlight. The bedroom is part of why I booked this hotel. You'll see here the written note for being a member of the leading world hotels organization. So this Kahala is a member, the Kahala Hawaii is a member. I like to stick to really strong organizations, Relais and Chateau being one of them. I actually prefer that organization. It's a little bit more old money, people that have seen the world. The LWH can sometimes be Gucci belt on Instagram situation, but here we are, no Gucci belt on YouTube. Again, the room is gorgeous, the blacks and whites. I don't usually love that scene. It reads a little clinical for me, but here it just comes across very clean. I felt very crisp. The bedding, gorgeous. The bedding in this room, decadent. The baby bedding was better than my main bedding. The baby had French linen bedding. My bedding, of course, gorgeous too, but the baby's was just on another level of like supple and soft and yummy. So in terms of the room layout, there is a walk-in closet, and then there's going to be a pretty big bathroom. And then again, we saw the bed situation, and between the bed and this closet, there would have been kind of like a bar area. This bathroom, of course, luxury as luxury goes. That's without saying. We're going to be expecting some of these incredible touches at some level at a hotel, no matter where we are in the world. However, as somebody that lived in Japan 11 years ago now, when I was recruited for a project there by the government of Japan and got to stay with host families as part of that situation, like 7 well-to-do, like wealthy host families across the country, I can assure you this size of space is not typical for Japan. So I really want to highlight that in terms of highlighting what's on the other side of it, is that this room is really, really spacious. It's really, really big. The double sinks, the massive bathtub, the walk-in shower could have fit, 6 people easily. The toilet in a separate room. This is a large room. Yes, I paid for it. Yes, I upgraded it. But again, even within upgrades at a typical hotel in Japan, we're not looking at half this size. And I know because I've been there, done that. Another bar area, you saw me probably very awkwardly filming with my floating hand there. So there were 2 bar areas in the room. Again, crazy opulent in terms of an amenity and just having the space to do that. This is the 14th floor lobby. On my floor, I always request the lowest floor possible because we have a family member that is height sensitive. And it's always so funny because people look at you when you tap, and I feel like there's this association that the higher floors are fancier. I got on the elevator actually with one guy here. It was just him and I. He was going to the 12th floor. I tapped 4, and I saw the look he gave when I tapped 4. And I was like, bro, this is by choice. Please mind your business. But anyway, speaking of floors, this is the lobby on the 14th floor. Fresh flowers, gorgeous. The chainy curtains, I mean, delicious. That, I think, speaks to like a diva fantasy that a lot of women have. And I'll put the dress here that it reminds me of. So looking at some more amenities in the building, this is the Wall of Heroes, so to speak. Some of the most influential people ever, from politicians like Hillary Clinton, the Queen, can we count her as a politician? Nixon, whatever party you're on, Obama, there's somebody there for you. And of course, I mean, cultural icons, Michael Jackson, all of that. So here, by the way, now we're trying to explore other amenities, including the pool and the gym, which of course are it's a resort, remember, the Kahala Hotel and Resort. I don't know if you saw, so there was one sign I hit when trying to get to those amenities that said private entrance, and there was another sign I hit that said staff only or residents only, one of those messages. Not being able to find the pool and the gym in the building, that's a red flag, and we'll get back to those when we sum up at the end of the video. This is also the floor of one of the restaurants. So they had a Japanese restaurant on site, an Italian restaurant, a lounge, and of course the banquet halls where breakfast was served on most days. This was in-room service on one of the days, the Japanese breakfast. I'm going to get back to the dining here, the food, at the end of the video in terms of like some really critical comments. But as far as what the eye is seeing here, this is a TikTok I filmed. Japanese breakfast is my favorite breakfast of all time, just like a French dinner is my favorite dinner of all time. Breakfast, incredible, immaculate. The food items in and of themselves, all of them, other than things I can't eat or find a little yuck, but every culture has yuck food, so that's okay. I don't do well with textures that feel like they've been, pre-licked. So something like the salmon eggs, that's not going in my mouth. The soft poached egg, we're not doing that. But overall, the foods I did eat, what I'm trying to say, those were all high contenders, and it wouldn't be fair to speak on the foods I didn't eat. Now, let's give some overview of this hotel situation. Let's start, what do you guys want to start with? I feel like maybe let's start with cons this time so we can end high with the pros. In terms of some of the cons, the food here, after a few days, had me feeling like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. If you know that scene where his wife finds that he's written the same damn line on every page of the book, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. I think that's the line. So it's got me feeling a bit like that, because if you notice, the Japanese breakfast, obviously amazing, but within it, none of the components ever changed. And that's not really the best representation of anything, I feel. So what I mean by that is we would have Japanese breakfast be brought up with in-room dining. The same exact food items as when we had breakfast in the Japanese restaurant. Same exact food as when we had breakfast in the banquet hall. And I call it Japanese breakfast because that's what they called it, okay? Obviously, I know it's just breakfast because we're in Japan. But what I'm trying to highlight is that it was just this musical chairs where like the dishes one day would be served vertically, one day horizontally, one day one at a time, but the food was the same every damn day. Now, I don't care what cuisine or culture it is. I feel that that much repetition, like not one change, is going to get to you. Now, to be fair to the Kahala, remember I said at the beginning, I laid the scene that this was next to a conference center. A lot of people here, I could tell, were corporate crowd, like their boss was paying for their stay kind of thing. They're in town for a day or two for a meeting. So those individuals are not going to have the chance to be bored out of their mind the way I was on a 10, I think 14-day stay. By the end of it is what we ended up staying. Those people that are there for a day or two, A, might never have breakfast because it's expensive, and I had it included as a perk of being a member of LWH. But B, if they have the breakfast, again, they're there for a day or two. At that point, it's still refreshing and culturally exciting, and oh my God, look at this. 10 days later, it'll get to you. So that's one thing. The second thing, I mean, I have to point out, hello, like the not being able to find the pool in the gym. Either I'm the dumbest person in the world or that's just not a good user-friendly experience. Could be the former, but I'm, gonna hedge my bets here and hope it's the latter. We need to very clearly point out where such key amenities are, because without a pool in a gym, not that your girl is the gym kind, but the pool is like, to me, natural exercise, walking, pool, things like that I do, like full body, comprehensive, low, impact on joints, things like that. I do that stuff. So to not be able to access that stuff kind of takes away from the resort. At that point, I'm just in a hotel. So that's a red flag I have to highlight. A third one is my first night there was a little yucky in terms of customer service. And I'll actually be adding customer service to the list of pros in a few minutes. But the first night there was a little yucky. There was this miscommunication with the front desk telling me that she was going to charge a security deposit to my card. Usually, even at the fanciest of places, that's going to be like a few hundred at most. We've stayed at the Burj Al Arab, the only 7-star hotel in the world, and the security deposit there was $10 on a thousands of dollars a night stay. So she said security deposit. I said okay. And next thing I knew, my card was blocked because what she meant was she was going to charge the whole stay on the card in that one moment in time. And my bank, because of how much I travel, and the accounts going on, being a lawyer, having sensitive accounts outside of personal accounts, things like that, my bank is very on the protective side, so they always err on the side of caution. And again, to have accounts blocked on the first night when you haven't had food, when you haven't had basic things going on, huge inconvenience just because somebody chose the wrong word to say. On the positive side, the customer service, again, funny enough, overall I would rank very, very high. The luxury and decadence in what I did experience is there. So the room, immaculate, one of the best service rooms I have ever been in. That's there. Location, as far as the Yokohama situation goes, and if we're not basing it as a Tokyo situation, because if I base the hotel stay in terms of proximity to Tokyo, it's an automatic fail. Taxis daily cost me $300 to $500 to get to Tokyo and back on the days I went. But in terms of in Yokohama, this is in a pretty nice neighborhood. Like the Rolls Royce, the Bentley dealership, the Lamborghini is within like a 2-3 minute walk. So that's, again, pretty good to set the scene for you in terms of where we are. And a last perk I'll end with that I think anybody can access because it's probably still free to make an account is that if you're a member of LWH, I was actually able to get this room for like half the price that I had seen advertised at the time of booking it on public platforms like Booking.com, Expedia, things like that. So that, makes you consider things overall, although that's a perk of being a member of the organization, not necessarily a perk to the hotel. But I do factor it in terms of bang for buck and the overall value. Now, the big question, would I go back. My true, my honest answer, and I love the hotel videos are some of my favorite that I do on this channel because of how authentic I keep the vibe. There's no fluff, there's no hoity-toity, like, oh my God, there's none of that. So I have to conclude honestly as well. Would I go back? No, I would not. I had my experience. It's another prestigious institution I can check off the list, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy to report I was at the Kahala. Would I go back to Kahala, Hawaii? Hell yeah. Would I go back to this Kahala? No. And I would go as far as to say that I'm not sure it's a true resort. With that being said, if you are looking for the most authentic, bang for buck, luxury-driven conversation and experiences out here on YouTube, then this is the channel for you. You found your corner. So give this video a big subscribe and leave your thoughts down below. Is this a place where you would ever stay, or would you rather stay somewhere like more typical hustle bustle, downtown Tokyo, Shibuya crossing situation? Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.